Good morning, gentlemen. I'm today going to wear a set of goggles which I purchased in Dubai. These Italian goggles, polarized. I'll put them on and let me see how it functions. And I'm going to talk to you, after wearing these goggles, about Pakistan. Now, Pakistan, as you know, is the other side of India. If India is heads, Pakistan is tails. The same coin. But Pakistan has gone down the path of obscurantism, religious extremism, and God knows what. The army is taken over, but there's no benefit to the country for the army because the country has slid into a morass, into an abyss of no return. और अब सिचुएशन ऐसी आ गई पाकिस्तान में कि they are facing twin dangers. एक डेंजर तो अफगानिस्तान से है, but there is another danger, and that is from Iran. Now, Iran, as you know, is a Shia country, but it is a friend of India. And there was a port which had been negotiated between India and Iran, which is now operational, that is called the Chahbahar port. Now, this is a very significant port, and it is a rival to water, which is made by the Chinese. This port is the lifeline of goods being supplied from India to Afghanistan through this port and further to Turkmenistan and other places in Central Asia. That means it is a route which bypasses Pakistan, and that is something which the Pakis can't accept. Because in contrast, the Chahbahar port, the Gardar port has gone down. The Chinese are just running like some scared kittens there. They invested $70 billion in that so-called CPAC, with a total bloody failure. They didn't get a dollar out of it, and they're going to get nothing also in due course of time. Militants have been attacking. I think close to about 20 Chinese have been killed till date. And despite all the pomp and show which Pakistan put in at the demise of these Chinese, like the Pakistan Prime Minister going to the embassy and apologizing, Pakistan apologizing, the Prime Minister apologizing to the workers, the Chinese workers, then Cabinet Minister taking the bodies in a ceremonial style to China, all that has got no meaning. And I think China must have realized what matters is brass tacks. More Chinese are going to die because nobody wants the Chinese there. That's the crux of the issue. And Pakistan is facing a tremendous insurrection from the Baluch Liberation Army as well as from the TTK, that is the Pakistan Taliban. Now there is another front opened up, and as you told, it is the Jaish-e-Adil. Now this is a religious battle, frankly, because as I already told you that Iran is a Shia country and Pakistan is a Sunni country. So this terrorist group which is operating from Balochistan is actually a Sunni terrorist group, and this time they have mounted an attack on the Chahbahar port. Now there are two reasons for it. One is that port is managed by India. India is using it to supply goods to Afghanistan and to Central Asia. And it's a lifeline for these countries. And Iran also is benefiting from it because it's a supply line which can continue further to the Caspian Sea to Russia. But unfortunately, maybe the Iranian guard was a little low because there has been this attack, and as per the Iranian news which has come in, I think close to about 25 security personnel and other people have died there in this attack, and the gun battle continued for many hours. And that's a very serious matter. This Jaish-e-Adi, is a terrorist group which the Iranians know about it, and they had attacked it I think about 2 or 3 weeks back. They had attacked it with rockets and missiles, and Pakistan had then retaliated also. So one thing is very clear, Pakistan should be very clear now, that Iran is not their heaven. You can think that Iran is going to back us because we are Islamic and all that. It's got no meaning. The days, when the Shah of Iran in 65 and 71 came and supported Pakistan and even loaned some fighters to them to fight India, it's all over. Nobody interested in that. Shah has gone into the dustbin of history. He's an American stooge. He doesn't exist anywhere now. And Iran, of course, is battling America. And the proxy of the Americans is Israel. Well, they have their reasons. I have no comment to make on that. Every nation has got its reasons. But the fact I will emphasize is that the Iranians and Indians have a good relationship. And that is why India was managing the Chahbahar port and taking supplies from there to Afghanistan. So India needn't go through Pakistan. And Pakistan, of course, not allowing trade across the Pakistan areas to Afghanistan. Well, part of life, you've got to accept it. So now what is next? Next is, I think, there could be some form of retaliation in any case from Iran. And it will be required because the Iranians have lost a fair amount of security persons. I'm told about 25 have been killed, maybe a number must be injured. And this attack appears to be very carefully planned. And I won't be surprised if the Pakistan Army's ISI has had a hand in it. I've got no proof or anything like that, but there's no way this attack could have been mounted without support of Pakistan intelligence. Well, Iran has to react now, and Pakistan is in dire trouble, if you ask me, because it's going to face a danger from Iran, it's going to face a danger from Afghanistan, and in Pakistan internally, the Baluch Liberation Army and the Pakistan Taliban are playing hell into the Pakistan state. Now the question which I have to ask the Pakistanis is, other than religion fanaticism, what has Pakistan really achieved? I wonder if somebody can give me some idea whether Pakistan achieved something else other than this. And this religious fanaticism also is not what Islam says. Now, I think during the Rozas, I was reading a news item on one of the Pakistani channels. A young boy, about 13 years old, I think was raped inside a mosque by the Imam. Well, I don't know what happened after that, whether he was arrested, not arrested and all that, because the rape laws in Pakistan are so loose, you can get away with it. And you will recollect that sometime back I had seen a video about somebody close to Lahore in a village where a Pakistani peer had impregnated almost 300 women who had gone to him in search of a son, and some barren woman had gone to have a child. One of the women went and she had a son from him, and she spread the word that, this is a very powerful peer, and whatever you go, you get, and so everybody is going there. About 300. Finally, somebody got wind of it, reported to the police, he was arrested, but nothing came of it because none of the women were prepared to testify against him. Who's going to admit it? Nobody. So it's scot-free. God knows where he's gone now. I had seen his picture. He said, I would say the peer is a very handsome man. And that's something which I can say is plus point. That's all. Otherwise, he had debased Islam. This is not what Islam says. Now, I was going through a video in which Dr. Tarar, who's one of the American, Pakistani top politicians in America, had made some very startling revelations. And he was of the view that Pakistan is going downhill to the end of the road, and concentrating only on religious extremism. I mean, that is something which you can't accept it. And he was very right enough to say that the system of having many wives and all that, he says he didn't support it. I mean, it was something which was there in the medieval time, and it served a particular purpose, where people were dying and getting killed, and so the widows were to be married. But it doesn't have to continue now. But unfortunately, Pakistan still continues in the obscure manner, going back to old ages, keep talking about the glory of the Mughals, not realizing that people like Akbar even, uh, they were keeping 300 to 400 concubines and wives and whatnot. Have a jolly good time. They didn't bother about Islam. And so many things further about Akbar, which I think somebody can go and read. Listen to Dr. Tarar, and you'll be really surprised. I don't want to say those things here because they're the words of Dr. Tarar. So one can go and listen to videos which are put in by one of the Pakistan channels and see what he has to say. Well, gentlemen, now the question is what Pakistan is going to do next. The one single important factor in Pakistan is the army, which came into power in 1958 when General Ayub Khan carried out the military coup. And he, of course, died in disgrace. But at that time, he was being hailed as a hero. But that hero and the others who followed him led Pakistan down an abyss, abyss is a place where you just go in, you don't come out. And it's like going to Hades, Hades is where Pluto sits. So they all went there, and that's where they remain now. And instead of having any progress, anything, Pakistan's got a negative growth rate. They claim it's about 1%, but I don't think it's 1% negative growth rate. There's no growth rate. And the other day I was reading that 10 million more Pakistanis have gone below the poverty line. In contrast, the Indians have removed 250 million people from poverty and made them respectable food to eat. In Pakistan, another 10 million has gone down, and 97 million people of Pakistan are on the poverty line. Well, if this is what the army has achieved, I would say the army should continue. Let them have a ball. The army has done nothing for Pakistan, and I want the Pakistanis realize this. Why don't they realize this simple truth? Keeping a fat army like a fat cow, and feeding it, and when it comes to war and battle, they are a big zero, and they're not able to lead the country forward to the modern age. If somebody like Kemel Ataturk had come, made Turkey into a modern state, but no, Pakistan got nothing like this. They got all obscure general like General Mullah, the famous Mullah general, Ziaul Haq. He brought in the Sharia back for rape and other women offences, and nobody's been able to get away from that hudud ordinance. It's not been repealed even today. Some provisions have been watered down here and there, but nobody has the courage in Pakistan to repeal the hudud ordinance which was issued by General Ziaul Haq. That's why he's called the Mullah General, and he let the country down totally. And he's not the one, I think Musharraf and all these fellows, it's the bane of Pakistan that this general should be holding fort. And now this problem has started with Iran, and Pakistan must beware. Because Iran is a very dangerous country, and they are not going to forgive Pakistan. And then we have the TTK, they are also fighting for converting Pakistan into a caliphate. And India is doing very well. I think India is by supplying items, food grains which are so essential, rice and other things to the Taliban in Afghanistan, things are moving forward. And Pakistan has become persona non grata. The Afghans don't want the Pakistanis because they claim the Durand line, which is a creation of the British, they don't recognize it. They claim an area right up to Peshawar, which is part of Afghanistan for years together. And Ahmed Shah Abdali, he ruled even the present Punjab, which Pakistan is having. So, gentlemen, it's troubles all over for Pakistan. As we say, troubles galore, plenty of them. And I don't think Pakistan is going to be able to get out of this morass. And one of the biggest reasons they are not able to get out of this morass is because they have the army in charge. Army rigs up the election. Now the man who won the election, I am not his admirer, because from the time when he was a cricket player, he changed a lot, he's become extremist, and he's the one who let Pakistan down, but he's the one who won the election. Maybe if he had come into power, things would have been different. But he's cooling his heels in the election, in a rigged election in which he would have won, but then his opponents emerged as a single largest group. And they were not allowed to contest under a common symbol. You- So you can well imagine what's to be done. Same thing, something happening in America now. Somehow Barack Obama and his stooge Biden are thinking of ways and means they can debar Donald Trump from contesting and see that Donald Trump loses. So that's another game. I'll talk about it a little later. But at the moment I'm talking about Pakistan. The last election, in other words, was a sham. And despite this, there have been attacks on Chinese in Pakistan. The CEPC is dead and Pakistan facing a danger from Afghanistan. And there have been border skirmishes between the Pakistan army and the Afghans. And at the same time, Iran is going to flex its muscles. So we'll have to see, gentlemen, what happens in due course of time. I don't think Pakistan has much of a future. And even the astrologers have forecast that Pakistan will be heading for a breakup. I don't say Pakistan is going to finish. They're not going to finish. As a country, it will continue. But it will break up into 2 or 3 parts. I think Balochistan would definitely break away. And so would be the northwest area, Pakhtuns. I don't know, I can't say about Sindh. They don't want to be with Pakistan. And then we have Pakistan occupied Kashmir. I think India should do better. Don't ask for that area. It is an area which is driven by extremism, militarism. Look at the way the people there have behaved. They attacked a KFC outlet. Why the hell you attack it? They said it's feeding the Israelis. I mean, they didn't know that KFC, that bucket chicken, is very popular in the tunnels of Gaza, and the people were buying it for $27 a bucket. And KFC was supplying to the freedom fighters, the so-called freedom fighters, the Hamas also. And in another case, they just hammered up one of the managers in Lahore or something, and he died, So it's blind belief, irrational approach, and the political leadership just surviving on oxygen given by the army. And the army, in any case, it's a full. They can't really go and fight India also. The question of fighting doesn't arise. They can't fight Afghanistan. They can't fight Iran. They can't even put down the terrorism inside Pakistan. So there's only one solution in due course of time. That is, Pakistan explodes from inside. The word is implodes. That's what's going to happen to Pakistan. I wish them best of luck. I don't want this to happen. But I think the writing on the wall is clear. The days of Pakistan in its present entity are over. I hope you like this video, gentlemen. Share it with your friends, and it will be a pleasure to talk to you again. In the meanwhile, I will say goodbye and God bless. Take care and come back again. I think I wear these goggles. Let me know.